Have you ever been in a situation where you're faced with such a difficult choice and you have no idea what to do, you're paralyzed by options, and you either end up making no decision or the wrong decision? This is what this video is about today. Welcome to the Lifecraft Code channel. Here we go. You know what I'm talking about. It's those moments in life where you never really thought about it and you find yourself face to face with a few options and you don't really know which way to go with it. There are different steps for each of us in life, and every step that we take leads to a different path or the next leg of the journey on our path in life. Some of these decisions are insignificant, things like what should I have for dinner or what am I going to wear today. Others are a little more important, like what would you do if you were in a house fire? What would you do if you suddenly had to leave your house and escape somewhere? What would you do if you had a major decision to make? What typically happens is we are going along steadily in life and there's a few decisions to make here and there that kind of make no difference whatsoever, but eventually we hit a crucial point where all of a sudden we're faced with a problem we've never been faced before, and we're left thinking, what should I do here? And when we don't have that particular answer, we find ourselves often either being told what to do, our lives have their decisions made for them, or we might fall apart. Now, we might work it out in the moment, but depending on how severe the situation is, it depends on whether we solve the problem. We're often left saying things like, I never thought I'd be in this position, or I never thought this would happen to me. But now it has happened to you, so what are you going to do about it? And these aren't just negative things. Sometimes a positive opportunity will come along, like all of a sudden you decide you can craft your own job role, you can decide your own future, and somebody asks you, what would that look like? And your answer is, I don't know. And the reason you don't know is because you've never really thought about it. You never thought you'd be in that position. And so now you're at a junction point in life that could take you off on a path that you're really intentional and decisive about, or one where you're just lost and confused. And the only way you can really have the answer to some of these questions is, well, if you think about them. A friend of mine who's a major in the Air Force said to me once that you need to decide before you're in the moment. In other words, before that difficult decision is presented before you, you need to know what it is you want to do about it. Most people don't think about some of those difficult scenarios because they don't think they'll ever be in that position. But when you start to be thoughtful about your life, you start to decide things before the moment happens. So here's the way that you think about it. If you've got a difficult scenario in life, let's say for instance, what would happen if you got mugged? What would happen if you got your dream job? What would happen if you were face to face with the thing that you fear the most? If you have a little moment where you think about it and decide, how do you want to respond? How do you want to react? You're deciding before the moment takes place. When the moment arrives on your doorstep and you're not sure what to do, that's when we get confused. That's when we fluster. That's when decisions are made for us. But if you're able to decide right now, like intentionally, about those difficult moments, when the moment comes, you're not having to dive past your emotions, you're not having to look past your feelings to decide what it is that you really want, what it is that is best for you in this situation. You've already made the choice. You already know what to do because you thought about it long before. Let me take it to an extreme example for you. Let's say there comes a day when you're incapacitated and it could be life-threatening. If you decide right now, say for instance, writing out on an A4 sheet what your wishes were in that scenario, like some call it an end-of-life plan. You have even a framework that can be given to people that lets them know, here's your best wishes and your best desires if you were no longer able to communicate. Or say for instance that you were lost or went missing. Having something written down to let people know, it might seem extreme, but at least there's a framework for people to work with. Let's say for instance you are offered your dream job. Somebody comes to you and says, I want to hire you for this new company, and you can write your dream job. What would it be? Knowing that in the moment, knowing that before the moment is a major asset. Or let's say for instance you walk past somebody who is homeless in the street, and deciding how you want to treat that person before you walk past that person will help you in the moment. When they ask you for spare change or ask you for help, you know how you want to respond. It might be to give them help, it might be to give them food, it might be to support them or signpost them in some way. Or let's say, may the Lord forbid it, your house burns down. Do you have a bag or a kit that you keep in the car? Do you have something that will help you move quickly, not have to think about what you need to do? Do you know where the exits are? Do you know where you'd go for support? Do you know where you'd go for a place of safety? All I'm saying is, if you can make tough decisions about those rare moments in life, those things that could happen, probably won't, but there is still a good chance that they will happen to you, and you know how to respond in those situations. When you get to those moments, you've already made the decision, you've already taken the sting out of the problem. Hey, think about it. Just a thought I had today. Rooting for you. See you soon.